Let's get to the news. Yesterday was Father's Day, a day for fathers and sons to really share their feelings. Saturday was President Trump's 79th birthday, but don't worry if you forgot, everyone did. President Trump hosted a military parade over the weekend to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the U.S. Army. Let's take a moment to drink in the majesty. I'm sorry, what, is that a military parade or a G.I. Joe themed bar mitzvah? I don't know if that inspires awe so much as it inspires aw. After weather forecasters predicted rain for President Trump's military parade, Trump posted on Truth Social, quote, "Remember, a rainy day parade brings good luck." Is that even an expression? That sounds like one of those poorly translated Chinese t-shirts. Singer Lee Greenwood performed God Bless the USA over the weekend at President Trump's military parade. Oh, did he? Did anyone think he was going to go up there and be like, here's one off the new album? It's called Lee's Dreams. It's about weird dreams. During a bill signing ceremony last week, President Trump said that, quote, "Unlike Biden, I stay awake at night thinking about how to save our country. And as everybody knows, all the best ideas come from a 79-year-old man on no sleep." The Trump Organization today unveiled plans for a new Trump mobile phone service. Best of all, you won't have any need for a friends and family plan. A mass celebrating Pope Leo was held over the weekend at the Chicago White Sox Stadium, which explains the reports of cheering being held there. Authorities in Canada recently caught 4 people who allegedly robbed an adult store and took more than $8,000 worth of cash and merchandise, including high-end leather gear. And as punishment, they won't be punished. Yeah, we know what you're trying to do. They're like, oh no. Oh no, you caught us. They're like running away real slow. Oh no, you're closing in. A Brooklyn dad won a Pedro Pascal lookalike contest over the weekend and received a prize of $50. By the way, Pedro Pascal's so popular, people wooed his lookalike. A Brooklyn dad won a Pedro Pascal lookalike contest over the weekend and received a prize of $50 and a year's supply of burritos from a local restaurant. I guess the burritos are to make sure he doesn't win next year. And finally, Breyers Ice Cream has issued a recall for nearly 7,000 cases after it mistakenly put Rocky Road in cartons labeled chocolate truffle. Even worse, the rum raisin cartons have rum raisin in it. We know what America's thinking about. During a bill signing ceremony last week, President Trump said House Speaker Mike Johnson would be remembered as a great speaker, and then added, quote, "I may be wrong, who knows, who the hell knows." Strong endorsement. Don't let Trump give your wedding toast. Dave and Gloria will be together forever or not. Who knows? A lot of divorces. During a bill signing ceremony last week, President Trump said that former President Joe Biden was much better at sleeping than him. I don't know, man. You fell asleep at your own trial. I think the only way you could top that is on the cyclone at Coney Island. Democratic Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez said over the weekend that former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo is running for mayor as a stepping stone to run for president, before remembering that it absolutely isn't one. When asked yesterday if Russia should be invited again to the G7 summit after being expelled in 2014, President Trump said no because, quote, "too much water's gone over the dam." I'm sorry, is that even a phrase or just another thing you think you heard somewhere? Well, you know what they say, even a broken clock can be barking up the wrong tree. And what's this new thing with Trump just making up popular expressions? I guarantee you this, if Trump says, you know what they say, then they don't say that. Private club co-founded by Donald Trump Jr. called the executive branch opened last week in Washington, D.C., and Eric announced that he found a really cool stick that he also calls the executive branch. President Trump, it has a cool stick. President Trump said in a new interview that he spoke to Russian President Vladimir Putin about the conflict between Israel and Iran and added that he would like Putin to serve as a mediator. Oh, sure, let's bring in that renowned peacemaker. Are you sure Conor McGregor is not available? When speaking about electric vehicles during a bill signing ceremony last week, President Trump said he would rather be electrocuted on a sinking boat than be eaten by a shark. Okay. A Galapagos tortoise at a zoo in Miami over the weekend celebrated its 135th birthday and first Father's Day, so yeah, he bought a Porsche. It was announced yesterday that Joey Chestnut will compete in Nathan's famous 4th of July hot dog eating competition during a press conference in which his cardiologist resigned. Taco Bell has unveiled 2 new sauces, the Spicy Ranchero and Avocado Ranch. And for white customers, there's a new Extra Mild. And finally, Pigeon Fest took place over the weekend in Manhattan and included a pigeon pageant in which New Yorkers dressed as the bird and performed musical numbers and dramatic monologues. Very cute and everything, but I'm still pretty mad about what they did to my car. Because that's when you know they're not real pigeons. No matter how good the costume was, that's when you know there was a person. President Trump is reportedly considering joining the war between Israel and Iran. And you may not like it, but he did say over and over again during the campaign, America third. In a post yesterday on Truth Social, President Trump declared total control over Iranian airspace. Buddy, you don't even have total control of the airspace above Newark. President Trump said yesterday that Iran is very close to building a nuclear weapon, but don't worry, guys, we got the dogs. Nothing says don't test me like something you can also buy at FAO Schwartz. President Trump threatened Iran leader Ayatollah al-Khamenei yesterday in a post on Truth Social, adding, quote, "We are not going to take him out, kill, at least not for now." Oh my God, he's the world's most incompetent mob boss. Yeah, I need you guys to take care of our little problem. Capiche? And by our little problem, I mean Mikey Four Eyes. And by take care of him, I mean murder him and hide his body in the swamp. Anybody wearing a wire? I should have asked first. According to a new report, Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard has fallen out of favor with President Trump. There's also like a 25% chance he thought he was appointing Nikki Haley. When asked on Monday about his response to conservative commentator Tucker Carlson's criticism of his record on Iran, President Trump replied, quote, "I don't know what Tucker Carlson is saying. Let him go get a television network and say it so that people listen." Oh, he is so messy. It's like if Lisa Vanderpump had the nuclear codes. Even she heard that, was like, you're kind of a bitch. Officials from the Army reported this week that there was no damage to Washington, D.C. streets following President Trump's military parade. Not only that, but you don't have to worry about the grass either. Elon Musk posted a screenshot on X yesterday of negative results of a drug test for 20 substances, including cocaine, ketamine, ecstasy, and amphetamines. Though I'm not sure it's a win to tell the world, sorry, suckers, I'm just like this. The Louvre in Paris shut down this week after employees went on strike to protest mass tourism. You don't like tourists? You're a museum. Where are the tourists supposed to go? Do you think people are like, we should really go to Paris this year and see their banks? The New York Times yesterday released its list of the best TV shows of 2025, and guys, I don't want to brag, but I read the whole thing. The whole thing? Two columns. Finally, the makers of Lay's potato chips have announced bacon grilled cheese is the winner of their Do Us a Flavor contest. Same, said those psychos over at Oreo. President Trump told reporters yesterday that he has given Iran an ultimatum as he decides whether to order strikes against the country, and said, quote, "Maybe you could call it the ultimate ultimatum." You could, if the second thing didn't mean the first thing. Ultimatums are always ultimate. There's no penultimate ultimatum. What's next? Are you going to watch The Pit tonight? It's the final finale. That's right. President Trump said that he has given Iran an ultimatum as he decides whether to order strikes against the country and added, quote, "I may do it, I may not do it." God, Trump treats going to war like the rest of us treat company softball. I don't know. It kind of sounds fun, but I also like having my weekends. President Trump held a ceremony yesterday at the White House to commemorate the erection of 2 new flagpoles, because when you're 79, every erection is worth celebrating. When asked yesterday about the difference between his first and second terms, President Trump said, quote, "I was the hunted, and now I'm the hunter." Dude, that's not the job. You're thinking of the difference between the first and second Rambo. That's right. When asked yesterday about the difference between his first and second terms, President Trump said, "Now I'm the hunter," which I assume means he's also got crazy stuff on his laptop. No, not that one, not that hunter. While speaking yesterday to reporters on the White House lawn, President Trump said that Harvard, wants to settle their legal disputes with his administration and added, quote, "Harvard wants to make a deal more than Iran wants to make a deal," which he's bummed about because he definitely wants to bomb Harvard. A SpaceX rocket exploded yesterday at Starbase in Texas while preparing for a test flight. At this point, maybe Elon should just rebrand SpaceX as an explosives company. The Taliban has reportedly banned chess and the sale of chess sets after learning that the woman can go anywhere she wants. Chess joke. In honor of National Lobster Day, Pete's Clam Bar on Long Island recently freed a lobster that had been living in a tank at the restaurant for years. Unfortunately, the lobster was simply unable to adjust to life on the outside. They showed me a still photo of it earlier. I didn't know the tail. Since when do we have a budget for that? Health and Human Services. I mean, that's like, you're like, oh, we're just too late. Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. said yesterday that Starbucks has pledged to further bring its menu in line with his Make America Healthy Again movement, evidenced by their new Starbucks Possum Pops. We're showing you guys some real gnarly stuff. And finally, transportation officials in Massachusetts announced yesterday they've selected an Irish convenience store company to rebuild and operate 18 rest stops along the Mass Pike. So if you thought Mass drivers were bad before, wait till they start serving Guinness. And that was a monologue, everybody.